And if the God of the Bible revealed himself to me, then the Bible would be true.
Okay, so it doesn't matter that the other gods reveal themselves to other people.
Oh, they can. They're in the Bible too.
What do you mean?
Other gods.
Well, what so somebody that's following Islam, like that they're going to follow the same path as you.
No, that's not the God of the
Oh,
Bible.
okay. So that God of that faith revealed itself to that person. So that must be truth too, then, right?
What's that? Well, I mean, we could go over why Islam's false if you want. Well, the Holy Quran, which is the word of Allah, confirms the Bible, confirms the scriptures in the Bible, right? Well, the Bible
Oh,
contradicts the Quran, so the Quran is false.
oh,
Even
so
even
you
if
happen
even
to
if the Bible was
you
false, the Quran is
you
false.
you
Okay,
you you ha- you just happen to you just happen to believe in the right God. Everybody else got the wrong one.
we'll find out on Judgment
Hold
Day.
on, hold on. So Oz, I have a question. Okay, let's say that I have a god machine. It's like a gumball machine. It pops out a new god on demand every day. We'll say it pops out one god every day. Do we have to take all of these gods seriously, or should a god meet a certain level of criteria?
Well, I'm sure based on the question you're asking, it's a lead-in question where your God is going to meet all the certain criteria and the others aren't. So I would
Well,
say that's a very uh,
it's
misleading
both. No,
format.
it's no, it's both. They're not mutually exclusive. It's both. It is a lead-in question for sure, but it's also a direct question. Like, in what context should you take everything seriously? I mean, in business, do you take everything seriously, every offer seriously, or should they meet a certain level of criteria?
Well,
Like, there is
everything.
criteria, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's what you're going to say. Everything has a measure.
Okay.
Everything has a barometer.
So what?
Um,
So what criteria should this God meet?
uh,
And so let's say hypothetically, there's a bar, and we would continue like a high jump to raise this bar until all of these other gods fall off. They don't meet that standard. And once we reach a certain standard by which we can judge these gods to find out which is the true God, there shouldn't be very many left, right? Does that make
okay.
sense? Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
I think I hear what you're saying, but
Okay, so
still,
so like if you're gonna hire somebody and you get 1,000 people, 1,000 applications, right? You're not going to consider all of those. You're going to start flipping through, say, oh, we don't. These all of these people are bilingual. That's really important to me. Let's save that. All of these people have a business degree and they're bilingual. Okay, the bar is now higher, but the application stack is getting lower until you only have a few applications left. It's deduction. And so now, once we have these few applications left, it's like, okay, let's comb through and let's find out which one of these gods or people we're going to hire. It's no different. It's no different with gods. So when it comes to gods, you have a bar, you have a standard, and we'll continue to rise that off, and we'll fastly eliminate all of the other false gods. So like let's say, do you believe in reincarnation? Someone says, yes, I don't believe in God, I believe in reincarnation. Well, who determines what you come back to life as? Do you see how that just blew itself up? So we can dismiss that. That doesn't work out. So I say, oh, what about Allah? As Daniel just said, the Quran confirms the Bible. So the Bible has to be true, or else the Quran isn't true. The Bible refutes the Quran, so the Quran just blew itself up. It's no longer true. So
well,
how many gods
but
are left now?
but the thing is, like, that's cool. Like everything you talk about is, as far as having a standard or a barometer, for all that is cool. Um, but then if we take this conversation and we go to the Middle East, we go to India, and we flip it to where it's not just a bunch of Christians and an atheist talking, that whole conversation shifts because they believe the same way
Wait, well, hold
you
on, hold
believe.
on, hold on. Now, logic doesn't change based on geography. So this logic would work in India also. We would say, hey, Indians, you guys believe in reincarnation? Yes. But you don't believe in God? Correct. I said, so when you're reincarnated, who determines what you come back as? I mean, there has to be somebody in charge, right?
Well, then if that is the case, if that's truly the case, then why is when we leave the U.S. and go to other countries that these conversations are as prominent because of all of the other religions and all of the other gods? Like you can say that here, right? We're having this conversation, but
So now you're
that's not the
arguing
case
that
when we go other places.
now you're arguing that logic is geographical again.
Well, no, where people
Sure you
are
are. Just
born.
so
Yes,
let's
where people are born geographically, where people are born, and the families that they grow up with, it's a huge impact on their
Sure.
worldview, their religious views. And if anybody says anything different, you're nuts.
Sure, but
okay,
that
hold on,
doesn't make
Oz.
it true, right?
Wait, let me ask just let me just make one more point. Okay, so if we use your logic, Oz, but we'll say instead of God, we'll talk about communism. And we'll say communism, just because it doesn't work here in America, where we're a very successful country, right? When we go to North Korea, is communism all of a sudden better?
No,
Is that the best system? But I would say, oh, but look, but everyone over there, they all would argue. They would all say, yes, communism is the best,
well,
and North
because they
Korea
have
is the
to.
most powerful.
They, yeah, they have
What?
to. Yeah,
Okay,
they
thank
have
you.
to.
Are we done? That's my point. That's my point. Logic is not bound
No,
by
no,
geographical
no.
locations, and so
That was
a
that was a
deduction
terrible.
process.
That was a terrible example because if we're talking about communism, like they're fearfully made to believe that. So of course they're going to say yes. Of course they're
No,
going to say yes to that.
it's, some
That-
some
So
people
so
would
so
be, and
is your
some people
God
would not, though.
is your God uh, pinning people down into fear like communism? And if that's the same comparison,
You're
then
missing
I
the
would say
point.
yes.
But
You're
yeah, I
missing the
think you're
point.
you're going on a red herring here, because that's clearly what I'm trying to establish is that logic is not bound in one place and not in another. So
Different.
if you have an accurate
Oh
process
my!
of
It's
elimination,
like, again, do a simple search. Like these things are not. I'm not making it up. Like all you got to do
No,
is
Oz. No one. No one
do a
disagrees.
simple search, and you can know that what I'm saying is statistically
We're
accurate.
not disagreeing with you, Oz. We're saying it's not true because of what you
right?
grow up as.
And
That's all we're saying.
it's also not true because of a consensus. Do you understand that? Like you know what the difference is between like the heliocentric and geocentric. Does everything evolve around the Earth? Is the Earth at the center of everything, or is the sun? Because at one time the consensus said that the Earth was, and so an argument from consensus back then, at a time when what the consensus believed is wrong, which is very reoccurring, by the way, you would have been arguing for something and been wrong. And so, again, logic doesn't check out when you go from one place to another. You can go across the world and people can believe in something that is wrong. It doesn't make it right.
Exactly.
It's still
Yeah.
wrong.
The truth
Just
isn't
everyone believes
determined by
it.
belief, right? Even if you really want Santa Claus to be real, it doesn't make him real,
Yeah,
right?
Oh,
even if you go
yes,
to the Middle
yes.
East and everyone believes in Santa Claus, it's like, dude, check this out. I can show you by deduction that your Santa
And
Claus doesn't
yes,
check
that
out.
perfect point. and
Exactly. That's what you're saying.
yes, just because you guys believe that Jesus is real and God is real doesn't mean it's real.
And we're
Well,
not
no.
saying that. No one's saying that. We're not
Well, no,
saying God is real because we believe it. That's not what we're saying.
we were talking about a deduction process. We were talking about a process of eliminations for gods, and I was explaining to you why we don't have to take all of these gods seriously. There should be a certain criteria, and
Well,
when we
to
take
you,
those, well, what
to
do you
you.
mean to me? You should take so now we go back to the job application. Do you take them all seriously?
No, listen, no, I
So
don't.
you're
In
contradicting yourself.
in this conversation, using the job application, like I do understand uh, the what you're trying to develop there, but when you go to other countries, like that will not apply. It does not apply.
How
What?
so? You don't. So other countries are they like beneath logic and deduction?
No, they are just they believe, just like you're stating your position with your God. They believe that fervently in their God, so it does not, it won't, that won't apply with them.
But Oz, you're missing the point. Again,
So we have to
it,
test. We have to
it's
test which God is true, right?
we test which God is true and how many people or where they believe it. It doesn't matter. I mean,
And
you
that's
can go somewhere that where they believe the most absurd thing,
and
and it doesn't make it true.